What if I told you there's a country so long it could stretch from Norway to the Sahara Desert, yet so narrow you can drive across it in just 2 hours? Or that the driest place on Earth, where rain hasn't fallen in centuries, is the same country that provides the world with nearly 30% of its copper? From the highest active volcano on the planet to the world's oldest mummies, predating Egypt's by thousands of years. This is a land of impossible extremes. Welcome to Chile, a ribbon of land wedged between the towering Andes and the vast Pacific that defies every geographic rule in the book. Chile is a geographic anomaly, stretching over 4,270 kilometers from the tropics to the sub-Antarctic. It holds the title of the longest north-south country relative to its width. To visualize this, if you place Chile over Europe, it would span from the northern tip of Norway to the southern Sahara Desert in Africa. Despite this incredible length, it's remarkably narrow, averaging only 177 kilometers wide. This ribbon shape is dictated by two massive boundaries, the towering Andes Mountains to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west. This unique geometry creates a climatic mosaic, where one can travel from the driest deserts on Earth to alpine tundras and glaciers without ever leaving the country's borders. It's a land where you can theoretically ski in the mountains and surf in the ocean on the same day. The Atacama Desert in northern Chile isn't just dry, it's the most arid non-polar place on the planet. Some areas might not have seen a drop of rain for over 400 years. This extreme aridity is caused by a double rain shadow. The Andes block the moist air from the east, while the cold Humboldt Current prevents moisture from forming over the Pacific. The landscape is so otherworldly, characterized by salt flats, stony terrain, and a lack of vegetation, that NASA uses it as a testing ground for Mars rovers. It's also a haven for astronomers. The thin, dry air and lack of light pollution make it home to some of the world's most powerful telescopes, such as the ALMA Observatory. In the Atacama, the geography doesn't just define the climate, it provides a window into the cosmos. Standing at 6,893 meters, Nevado Ojos del Salado is a record breaker in two categories. It's the highest active volcano on Earth and the second highest peak in South America. Located on the border between Chile and Argentina, this stratovolcano dominates the high Puña de Atacama Plateau. Because of its proximity to the Atacama Desert, the mountain is surprisingly dry, with snow usually only appearing on the peak during winter. However, it holds another secret. At around 6,480 meters, it contains a permanent crater lake about 100 meters in diameter. This is considered the highest lake of any kind in the world. For geographers and mountaineers, Ojos del Salado represents the ultimate intersection of volcanic activity and extreme high-altitude hydrology. Chile sits directly atop the Pacific Ring of Fire, the most seismically active region in the world. As the Nazca tectonic plate subducts beneath the South American plate, it fuels a staggering volcanic chain. Chile contains approximately 2,000 volcanoes, which accounts for nearly 10% of the world's total. Of these, about 500 are geologically active, and roughly 60 have recorded eruptions in the last century. Some, like Villarrica and Osorno, are iconic for their perfect conical shapes and constant activity, often featuring glowing lava lakes that draw tourists from around the world. This volcanic geography is a double-edged sword. While it poses a constant natural hazard, the volcanic ash has created some of the most fertile agricultural soil in the southern hemisphere, particularly in the lush Central Valley. On May 22, 1960, the earth near Valdivia, Chile, shook with a violence never before measured by modern science. Registering a 9.5 on the Richter scale, the Great Chilean Earthquake remains the most powerful seismic event ever recorded. The rupture zone was over 1,000 kilometers long. The energy released was so immense that it didn't just cause localized destruction, it triggered a massive tsunami with waves up to 25 meters high that raced across the Pacific. These waves claimed lives as far away as Hawaii, Japan, and the Philippines. The earthquake actually altered the geography of the coastline, causing parts of the Chilean coast to sink by 2 meters. Today, this event serves as the global benchmark for seismology and has led Chile to develop some of the world's strictest and most advanced earthquake-resistant building codes. Chile learned that to survive chaos, you need a structure that doesn't break under pressure. And honestly, I found the same thing applies to my own health. When my schedule gets chaotic with filming, my nutrition usually crumbles. That's why I've started using the high protein starter kit from Huel. I've always been the person who plans to eat high protein meals, but then I get busy and end up running on just caffeine and vibes. That's where this Huel bundle changed the game for me. It combines the Black Edition ready to drink with the Black Edition powder. On days where I'm rushing out the door to record, I grab the ready to drink. It's a complete meal with 35 grams of protein and 27 essential vitamins and minerals. So it's the perfect emergency button that keeps me from eating junk food. Then, when I'm researching or scripting videos at home, I use the Black Edition powder. I can shake it up with water or make a smoothie, getting 40 grams of protein without any artificial sweeteners or gluten. Having both options means I have no excuse to miss my protein goals, whether I'm at home or traveling. So, if you want to lock in your nutrition, get Huel's high protein starter kit today. Use my code Geoff20 at huel.com/Geoff20 for an exclusive 20% off. It's for new customers only, so jump on it right now. Thank you to Huel for supporting the channel. Now, Huel is great for preserving your energy, but for the people of northern Chile, they were interested in preserving something else entirely. They're dead. While the Great Pyramids of Giza often dominate the conversation regarding ancient burials, the world's oldest mummies are actually found in the coastal valleys of northern Chile. The Chinchorro people, a seafaring culture, began mummifying their dead around 5050 BCE, roughly 2,000 years before the Egyptians. Unlike the Egyptians, who reserved mummification for royalty, the Chinchorro applied the practice to all members of society, including infants and the elderly. The hyper-arid climate of the Atacama Desert helped preserve these remains for millennia. These mummies provide a fascinating geographic record of ancient life, showing how early humans adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth. In 2021, UNESCO recognized the Chinchorro settlement and artificial mummification sites as a World Heritage Site, cementing their place in global history. Roughly 670 kilometers off the Chilean coast lies Juan Fernandez Archipelago, home to a story that blurred the lines between geography and fiction. In 1704, a Scottish sailor named Alexander Selkirk was marooned on one of these islands, then called Masa Tierra. He lived in total solitude for 4 years and 4 months, using his ingenuity to survive until his rescue. His ordeal served as the primary inspiration for Daniel Defoe's classic novel, Robinson Crusoe. In 1966, the Chilean government officially renamed the island Robinson Crusoe Island to reflect its literary legacy. Today, the island is a biosphere reserve, home to unique flora and fauna found nowhere else on Earth. It serves as a living monument to the geographic isolation that can turn a survival story into a global legend. The humble potato is the world's 4th largest food crop, but its geographic roots are often misunderstood. While many associate the potato with the Andes of Peru, genetic research has revealed that over 90% of modern potato varieties worldwide share a common ancestor from the Chiloé archipelago in southern Chile. The indigenous people of Chiloé cultivated hundreds of varieties of potatoes long before Spanish explorers arrived. The island's temperate, rainy climate and volcanic soil were perfect for developing the hardy tubers we eat today. When the Great Famine struck Europe in the 19th century, it was the genetic diversity of these Chilean strains that eventually helped create more resistant crops. Today, Chiloé remains a geographic seed bank, preserving ancient varieties that are essential for global food security. For centuries, the geography of Chile was defined by a river, the Biobío. South of this line lived the Mapuche people, one of the few indigenous groups in the Americas to successfully resist the Inca Empire and the Spanish crown. For over 300 years, during the War of Arauco, the Mapuche used the dense forests, swamps, and rugged terrain of south-central Chile to their advantage, conducting guerrilla warfare that baffled European armies. This created a unique, historic border, known as La Frontera. Unlike the rest of Spanish America, which was rapidly colonized, the Mapuche lands remained an independent territory recognized by treaty until the late 19th century. This geographic resistance shaped the cultural identity of Chile, resulting in a nation that is deeply influenced by its frontier history and Mapuche heritage. When Charles Darwin arrived in Chile aboard the HMS Beagle in 1835, he was more of a geologist than a biologist. His time in Chile was pivotal for his theories on evolution and the age of the Earth. While exploring the Andes, Darwin found fossilized seashells at an elevation of over 3,000 meters. Shortly after, he witnessed a massive earthquake in Valdivia that raised the shoreline by several feet. Connecting these two observations, Darwin realized that the Earth's crust was not static. Rather, the mountains were being pushed up slowly over millions of years by repeated seismic events. This geographic epiphany gave him the deep time framework necessary to later develop his theory of natural selection. Chile, with its violent geology and fossil-rich mountains, acted as the laboratory where Darwin first realized the Earth was ancient and ever-changing. For decades, the Argentine city of Ushuaia claimed the title of the End of the World. However, in 2019, the Chilean government officially reclassified the settlement of Puerto Williams from a town to a city. Located on Navarino Island across the Beagle Channel, Puerto Williams is situated at 54 degrees south latitude, making it definitively the southernmost city on the planet. Its geography is rugged and windswept, serving as a hub for Antarctic scientific expeditions and Cape Horn tourism. Life here is defined by isolation and the sea. The city is primarily accessible by boat or small aircraft. By claiming this geographic title, Chile has shifted the focus of the southernmost tourism industry, cementing its status as the gateway to the Antarctic wilderness. In the coastal resort of Algarrobo, human engineering has created a geographic marvel, the San Alfonso del Mar swimming pool. Holding the Guinness World Record for many years, this man-made lagoon is over 1 kilometer long and covers an area of about 20 acres. It contains 250 million liters of seawater, which is pumped directly from the Pacific Ocean, filtered and treated. The pool is so large that guests can navigate it in small sailboats and kayaks. The project was born out of a geographic necessity. The central coast of Chile has cold, dangerous waters with strong currents, making ocean swimming difficult. This artificial ocean allows visitors to enjoy the coastal views while swimming in clear, 26-degree turquoise water, creating a tropical oasis in a temperate climate. The Gran Torre Santiago is not just the tallest building in South America. It's a triumph of human geography and engineering. Standing at 300 meters, it towers over the Santiago skyline. Building a skyscraper of this height in one of the most earthquake-prone cities on Earth required revolutionary design. The tower is built to withstand a 9.0 magnitude earthquake without suffering structural failure. It features a massive reinforced concrete core and a flexible steel frame designed to sway rather than snap. Its glass facade is also designed to stay intact during heavy vibrations. The tower serves as a symbol for Chile's modern economic rise and its ability to thrive in a geographic environment that would be considered uninhabitable for such structures in other parts of the world. Chile's geography, specifically the high altitudes and crystal clear skies of the north, make it one of the best places on Earth for aerial observation. Perhaps unsurprisingly, it's also a global hotspot for UFO sightings. Chile is one of the few nations with a government body dedicated to investigating these phenomena, the Committee for the Study of Anomalous Aerial Phenomena, which operates under the Chilean Air Force. The town of San Clemente even established a UFO trail, a 19-mile path through the Andes where sightings are frequent. The combination of military radar, world-class astronomical observatories, and a culture that is open to the unexplained has made Chile a pilgrimage site for researchers. In Chile, the study of the skies is a matter of national interest, blending science with modern folklore. Copper is the lifeblood of the Chilean economy, and the Escondida mine in the Atacama Desert is the heart of that industry. It's the world's most productive copper mine, accounting for a massive portion of the global supply. The scale of that mine is difficult to comprehend. It consists of 2 massive open pits that are so large they are clearly visible from space. Chile produces 1/4 of the world's copper, a resource essential for the global transition to green energy and electric vehicles. The human geography of northern Chile is built entirely around these mining cities, where thousands of workers live in high-altitude camps. This extraction industry defines Chile's role in the global market, turning its harsh, mineral-rich desert into a vital organ for the world's technologic infrastructure. Chile is definitely one of the most interesting countries in the entire world. While it's dominated by the Andes Mountains, it also has a more diverse set of climate and geographic biomes than most other countries. It really is a world unto itself. This week, I'm in Ceuta, Spain's bizarre foothold on the African continent. Why do they own it? Well, come join me as I explore Ceuta's story in person. I hope you enjoyed learning all about Chile. If you did, be sure to check out this video all about why the Andes Mountains break South America's geography. Thanks for watching, see you next time.